Magandang hapon, Tess.
Magandang hapon sa iyo, Paulo. Welcome back to
Well,
our what? Episode 4
episode 4.
of
Yeah.
Pinoy Homes Canada. Hello to all our viewers.
Yes. And welcome back to you too from your trip. Hope you had
Thank you.
a nice trip.
Yes, and it's super dark as you can see. Can you see me?
I know I
I
had to
didn't want to
ask.
leave.
I know I had to ask, is it just your lighting or I'm like and I look
I know.
so much lighter than you now.
Yeah, and you're dark yourself too, but you look like so white right now compared
I
to
know,
me.
I know.
Not for long. You're going for your vacation too soon, so we shall
I
see.
know for sure. Well,
Yeah.
for today's episode, I wanted a market update, just of changes in the real estate market
Yeah.
with interest rates and everything. So, where are we on in terms of the market and the numbers? Are things selling? How long are they out there in the market? And so, what are those numbers like, Tess?
Well, what can I say? Sales are down, average home prices are down, but let's get to it. So instead of giving you the overall market update for August 2024, I'll be going through the major home types. What I mean by that is I'm going to tell you what the numbers are for detached, semi detached, townhouse, and condo apartment. So the sales for all of them, detached, semi detached, townhouse, and condo apartment, are all down. Okay. Detached, not too bad, just down 1%.
And are we
Semi-detached,
talking 1% from previous month or year over
from
year?
good question. That's year over year. So we're talking about the August 2024. This is compared to August 2023. So all of these numbers are compared to last year. Okay. So detached is down 1% in sales. Semi-detached is down 3.4%. Townhouse, so it's getting higher and higher. Townhouse is down. The sales is down 6.1%. And the highest of all is that condo apartment is down 11.4%. I think everybody had seen that there are now movements in the condo sales right now. They've been like dormant, like not doing anything, really, really stagnant. They've been sitting in the market for a while.
Mhm.
Um, the
Well,
average price.
I'm assuming when it comes to the property types too, there's more inventory on the condo market. Correct me if I'm wrong, right?
Yeah, it has
So
the
those
highest
numbers
inventory.
are highest
That's
inventory.
right.
Okay.
Right.
Mhm.
The condo market right now is, I'm sure everybody noticed, it's not moving at all. You know what that
Well,
means for the buyers?
yeah, well, that is true. But I believe it's specific more to downtown Toronto, right? Just because there's saturation of new buildings in Toronto or overall as the GTA. But I remember a couple years ago, I was not warning people. There's gonna be a lot of inventory. There's gonna be more availability, right? So I think it was kind of inevitable. And then with the combination of increased rates and everything, that's why a lot of this properties are sitting in the market at the moment.
That's right. It
Mhm.
would have been perfect timing because of, the housing issues that we're having. So now there are more in the market and you would think that people should be jumping in. But
Mhm.
guess what? You know what's stopping them is the high interest rates.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
hopefully as soon as the interest rates eases down, I think we'll see more buyers coming out in the market.
For sure.
Um, so for the
Sorry.
average price, that's all
Yeah.
right. Average
Go
price
ahead.
for year over year. This is the August numbers. This year, it's 1.414, so 1,414,000
Mhm.
for detached.
Pretty that.
And I'm talking about Greater Toronto area. So it's down 0.3%. Not too bad for detached. Detached are really selling, especially if they're priced well, you know.
Mhm.
Semi-detached, the average price is 1,026,000. It's down 3.9%. Townhouse, the average price is 891, 892 compared last year. It's down minus 4.6. And the condo apartment, the average price in GTA is 674,706. It's down 4.5 compared last year. Not too bad, right? So the overall for all those all home types, overall sales is down 5.3.
5.3.
New listings is up. So we already have a lot right now. for
Mhm.
active listings, and now the new listings is up again. Compared last year, is up 1.5%. So again, more for sale on the market. The
Mhm.
active listings, you want to hear this.
Mhm.
So far, that includes the new ones that just came in and the one that's still sitting, is up 46.2% compared last year.
Wow.
46.2%. Okay, active listings.
Mhm.
So the overall average price for all home types of all the ones I mentioned earlier, the overall in GTA is minus 0.8%. And the average listing days on market this year in August is 28 days. Last year, it was only 20 days. So
Mhm.
that's how long it takes, the average time to basically sell a property. And that's up 40%
And that's
compared
across
last year.
and that's
Ac-
across all typical
Greater
all home
Toronto
types
area.
and all
All
home
home
types.
types.
All
That's
home
correct.
types.
All
Okay.
home types, yes. Yes. Um, I would say for condos, really it's longer than that, I'm sure, but they just kind of like summed it in, like lumped in all four of those. So
Mhm.
it's an average. So
Yeah,
it's really
because
important
I
to,
know people right now that's been 3 months or or even closer to six
or
months
more.
when it comes
Yes,
to the condos that are available right now, right? Well, I know it's still specific to the condo, right, and how you're pricing it. So I think that's something that we'll get to later on.
that's right. So it's really important to understand the market, right? And
Mhm.
as everybody know right now, we are in a buyer's market. I believe the buyer's market started since last September
Mhm.
2023, right? And
Just
just
about
for
it.
those people, just for to our viewers who don't understand what's the meaning of a buyer's market, it's basically occurs when the supply of homes for sale exceeds the demand. So basically, less buyers and more properties for sale.
Mhm.
So what it means is high inventory of homes, few buyers, like I said, compared to availability. Homes stay longer, right? Because there's more competition of houses for sale, less buyers, lower home prices, which means best time to buy for buyers who are financially ready, of course, and more favorable terms for buyers. So buyer have more negotiating room
Mhm.
when it's a buyer's market. And the benefits. So it's important to price it right, right?
Mhm.
Because I still see a lot of sellers out there that still have the mentality of a COVID price. I don't know where that come from. So they think, I mean, everybody thinks their house is worth
I
more,
you know what
but
I have this conversation pretty much on a daily basis with people, and like people that
oh,
are sellers na they feel that they're losing money if they sell at a lower price because it was up to a certain price at one point, right?
that's right,
I think people need to understand that the value of your property is not what it was historically, right?
correct,
It's what is it is in the current market because it's
yeah.
based on supply and demand, and then that's more of your realistic price that you should be selling at, as opposed to focusing on, oh, it was up to this amount at one point.
Yes, at one point. And it was
Mm-hmm.
a different times too. It was
Mm-hmm.
COVID time. Of course, everything was like crazy at that time.
Mm-hmm.
You put it in the market and it's sold the next day, right?
Mm-hmm.
Totally different. So, I mean,
Well, with
now
two.
it's normalizing. We're
Mm-hmm.
back now to normal.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, we have the thing called comparative market analysis, and I will talk about that later. But really, we look at the last 3 months of homes for sale. And if there's none, then we go a little bit further,
Mm-hmm.
the last 6 months, and then the last year. So the benefits of pricing right? It's important because your property sells faster because it's exposed to more qualified buyers if your price is right. When the buyer agent shows all this, the listings that are already set up on Toronto Real Estate Board like applications, we send it usually to our buyers, right? When we show it to them and they look at the price, for example, um, they know in their mind that they can only afford, they were pre-approved for 1 million, but they don't want to look at 1 million, they just want to look at 800,000. If your price is 850, they won't even look at, they can't, it won't even come out, it won't come into the listings that they'll be looking at, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's one thing. So you're going to miss out on those buyers. That's number one. So it's really important. Your home also, it's important to price it right so that your home doesn't lose its marketability. The closer the market value, the higher the offers. obviously. A
Mhm.
well-priced property can generate competing offers. And, the buyer agents will be more enthusiastic about presenting your property to buyers. Even your agent, the buyer agent, will tell their clients, the buyers, that that's overpriced. Let's not even consider it, right?
Mhm.
Unless the buyers have seen it, like it's in their neighborhood and they wanted to go there. There's an open house. You might as well just go in. Otherwise, once they find out the price is too high, they won't even consider it. They would just move on, right? So before you compare your home to similar properties and establish a competitive list price, consider the following: location, the size of home, the style. Some houses for sale that were sold prior to yours were probably well renovated and yours is not. Yours is dated, theirs is better. So those things are important. The condition, the community amenities. So that's again part of location. What the community offers, buyer supply, buyer's market equals high inventory. Maybe the times that houses were sold then were higher is because it's a seller's market. We are now in a buyer's market, totally opposite. So that's another thing that you have to consider. So it's important to get to know your market, and a comparative market analysis is one of the indicators of what today's buyers are willing to pay for a home. It compares the market activity of homes similar to yours in your neighborhood. All right. And if there's nothing actually in your neighborhood, we go a little bit further depending on how far it is and the similarity of the property. Those that recently sold represent what buyers are prepared to pay. So it's not up to you, it's what the buyers are
Mhm.
willing to pay, right, for your home. The homes currently listed for sale represents the price sellers hope to obtain, but it doesn't mean that's what the buyers are willing to pay. So those listings that have expired were generally overpriced. That's what it means. It expired. What does it mean? It got terminated? Well, only means one thing: when no one is looking, it's overpriced, right? Or it's poorly marketed. So it's important to, again, talk about overpricing your property. Many sellers believe that they price their home high initially because they think they can lower it later. Remember, the first 2 weeks is very crucial. So you have to price it right the first time.
Mhm.
When it's priced too high, it experiences a little activity, and gradually the price will come down to market value. But by that time, it's been for sale for too long, and some buyers have already moved on, right? And
Mhm.
lose interest. And they'll be thinking, like, it kind of like create a stigma. They'll be thinking like, it's been there for a while. Why would you even look at it? And if they even
Well,
consider going back,
people
the
think that
price,
there's something wrong, right, with the
yeah,
property when you
that
see
yeah,
60
it
days,
creates a
90 days
stigma.
in the market, right?
Even though that's not the case. But the
Mhm.
thing is, it's been there for a long time. So it's always been like that. So it's really important that the sellers can't be greedy. I hate to say that word, but you just listen to just look at the numbers. Like, we don't make up the numbers. These are the real statistics that's
Mhm.
available, that's sold in your area. Just be reasonable. So on occasion, the price drop below market value because the seller runs out of time. As a result, the property sells for less than it's worth. So again, it's crucial to price your home right in the beginning. I can say that over and over again.
Yeah,
So, I
well, and,
mean,
and
yeah,
and I think to your point initially, na the price actually is part of almost like a marketing strategy. Na
right.
because people are pre-approved for a certain amount. So if you're just priced 25,000 or 50,000 more than what they're pre-approved for, they don't even look at the house.
No,
But
no,
they can possibly go that, they could have extra money out of pocket, or there's just certain factors na they don't even look at your house, just because it's priced a bit over. So it might be better
right.
to, as from a marketing strategy, when you're selling something, let's say around 800,000, and you want 850, and you can really list it at 799, just to get those people that are about
Correct.
around there
That's how you
to
do
kind
it.
of trickle in, right?
Yes.
And then when they fall in love with the property, they may be able to make the numbers work.
The goal is, you want the buyers. Okay, sellers, the goal is to bring the buyers in. And how do you attract those buyers? Lower your price, because the buyer agent knows, because of the CMA or comparative market analysis, the buyer agent knows how much it really costs. And I'm sure they will communicate it to their clients, right? Okay, just so you know, this is how much it's sold, and this one is way better than the one it was sold for. So the clients have an idea. So, I mean, what you can do is the buyers can always make an offer, and the sellers doesn't have to accept it. You have
Mhm.
three ways to do it. They can accept, counter, and reject. The
I
main thing
think
is you get offers.
I
That's the
think
main
that's
thing.
I think that's the key to what you just
Yeah.
said
Yeah.
is you don't have to accept a
No?
lower offer. It's something you do like as you mentioned, you have three options. It's
Yeah.
either you accept, you counter, or you just decline the offer, right? But
That's
the
right.
idea is you try to get people, and any offer is good, right? Because
Yes, yes, exactly.
then you can stir up
You can
competition.
negotiate. Yeah, and then
Hmm.
you can, if the price doesn't, like, the price is too low or too high, there's still terms. You can look at the concessions
Hmm.
or terms, like you can work on those numbers. And then, because you don't have this, the other place have this, can we lower the price? Or this one needs to be repaired, all those kind of things. There's so many things that you could do, just make sure your place is presentable, so that way you can get an offer and price it right. That's really the key thing here.
Hmm.
Have a place to presentable to list. That way you get more people in, and once you have more traffic, then everything else will fall into place. But once it's overpriced, you're really losing out on a lot of things, and they'll
Okay.
start staying on the market for a long time. As soon as the 2 weeks is gone, you should start getting nervous. I mean, at this point, since we're in the buyer's market,
No,
30
somewhat
days,
normal, yeah.
yeah,
Hmm.
30 days is normal.
Hmm.
So as long as your market, your house is priced well, and you presented it well, meaning it's staged and everything, it's decluttered and all those kind of things, you've done all those checklists, you should be good. You just have to wait. But if it's priced, when it's priced too high, when even not one person look at your property,
Hmm.
something is
Hmm.
not right. You should talk to your agent and
And it all
re-strategize.
yeah, and I think it's also dependent on personal circumstances, right? So if you are able to, let's say because some people are trying to sell because they already bought a place, right? So, but if you have time to wait, then yeah, that's okay, right? Like think about it, like you have to calculate all of your overall finances, if it's worth it to maybe price slightly higher and wait for that price, or do I have to sell because I'm losing money every month, right? And I think we've had this conversation on my personal, like,
Before.
some
Yeah.
with somebody that sold in this market. I kind of understand, what, this is the pricing right now, but this is my carrying cost,
Right.
right? So you have to weigh it out and kind of run your own numbers specific to your situation.
Right. I understand that because of the high interest rates right now, a lot of homeowners are in trouble, meaning they're not able to pay their monthly mortgage on time, and they must sell their property.
Hmm.
And if they don't, basically they're in default. And if they can't sell it at a certain time, then the bank will take over, and it will be power of sale, and they would even lose more money. And so,
Hmm.
you're right. Some people are in a different predicament, and they,
Hmm.
they have to do what they have to do.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah, like, yeah,
unfortunately.
so it's all dependent on your own circumstances.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is like what we're presenting everybody is, it's almost like what the numbers are right now and what your expectation should be,
Yeah.
given that we're in this buyer's market, right? I think, yeah, so yeah, no, the definitely great tips. I think overall, number one is definitely pricing it right. You have to understand the market that you're in. I think there was a couple of other things that you can just add to it to maybe help you sell
Prepare to
the
sell.
property. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Making minor upgrades,
Mhm.
just as replacing light fixtures and hardware in the kitchen and bathrooms.
And
And
repainting. I'm always big on at least freshening up your
yes, always
property. Yeah.
those things, those are very cost effective.
Yeah.
Like new set of paint, like Condo paint, right? Use white or
Hmm.
gray. Don't use any colored thingy, right? Because
Hmm.
it's not for you, it's for other people, the
Yeah.
buyers, right? And white
It has to be
always open
neutral.
up the place.
Yeah.
Yeah, it has to be neutral.
Hmm.
I say, if your kitchen cabinets or drawers are outdated, right,
Hmm.
you have to opt for refacing means, like, for pastel colors, rather than replacing them, which is more cost effective option, unless of course you have the budget for a
Hmm.
full replacement. So I always tell my client that. Another thing is enhancing curb appeal. another strategy when selling a home, it creates a positive first impression, like for the exterior of your property, right? It really increases the perceived value of the property. Inside, of course, you have to declutter. I see a
Mhm,
lot of these issues, like on the kitchen alone, it has to be like empty, like the countertop, because again, when it's clean like that, it makes the house looks bigger. It creates more space, right?
mhm,
Um, Cleaner, more appealing to potential buyers. Basically, you have to highlight features. Improves flow when it's clean.
mhm,
Uh, Definitely consider staging your home if you don't have good pieces or
mhm,
own good pieces in your house, because not only does this increase your chances of selling the property faster and at a higher price, but it also helps buyers visualize its full potential, so making it more appealing. Some
mhm.
people really can't tell, seeing themselves in this property, right? They don't know where to put stuff in. But when you create it for them by way of staging, it helps them even more. They're like, oh my God, I didn't know that I can actually do that. This is amazing.
Ye-
I'm actually interested, like those kind of things, right?
And I definitely think that this little touches here and there is more important, even more now,
Yes.
because we're
Oh
in
my
this
God.
buyer's market. Because
Yes.
you want to stand out, right? You want
Yes,
your
you got
listing to
it.
stand out. So,
That's the key word. It has to stand out.
and
And it
also
has to be
for
presented
I,
well.
and I don't know if this is even something that even people should even not consider is having professional photos done, because
Oh my God, it's
it blows
major.
it blows my mind to see on, like, let's
I
say
can't.
realtor.ca, and it's not professional pictures, because people won't even come to see your
Yeah.
property if it's not presentable, or it's not, it's not enticing to see it, right?
It's unacceptable.
Yeah.
Unacceptable. You gotta have professional
are there
photos and videographer done.
are there realtors out there that really won't get it done? So are there, these are not kind of like private listings that they're paying like a set fee, and but there are realtors that won't even do
It,
professional photos,
I don't want to badmouth the realtors, but I guess some of them they really. This is what
trying to
happens
just
with,
save
yeah,
and just,
save money, right?
yeah.
I mean, I'm sure those realtors too didn't probably get paid a lot. Like, they're discounted realtors. I
Mhm,
mean, what can you do? What can you work with almost nothing? This is the reason why we are paid what we are paid,
mhm,
because
mhm,
we're supposed to do those things to present your property well,
mhm.
right?
It's all of marketing
So
expenses, and marketing is not cheap,
yes,
right?
I'm
So,
I'm yeah, with marketing, I'm always all the way. Like I go all the way. It's important to have this property marketed like properly so you can sell it at a high number.
yeah.
At
Well,
a
it just blows my mind. That's why I bring it up,
Oh my
because
God, there's so many.
I
Can you
thought
blame
it
them?
was like it's a given that you at
Yeah.
least the bare bottom is have professional photos done, right?
Professional photos would run up to $500.
Hmm.
So I mean, if they don't get paid, well, like I don't know where they're gonna take it, and if the property doesn't sell, that's negative for realtors. But I would say, even if, because I always do anyways, I always, yeah, I never use my phone. Always hire professional photographer, and this is the reason why you have to hire a good realtor, right? Not only that, you find a good realtor to sell a property. Of course, you're gonna look at their um, history. If they've sold a lot, especially in your area, they know your area and how they present um, listings, so that you know how they will perform.
Hmm.
Because some people are just trying to hire realtors that's doesn't even have any experience. So it's important to
Hmm.
um, work with the right realtor who's working on your favor. Because
Hmm.
after all, you want the highest number,
For
right?
your
And
property.
sell your
Yeah, especially
property.
even more so.
Yeah.
I think this is kind of this type of market is the test of, having an
Who's
experience. Yeah,
correct?
yeah, because
Who's really
in
good
a
at what they
seller's
do?
market, it's like, the property sells itself because the market
No sweat.
dictate. Yeah. So
That's
now
right.
this is the test. It's like, having a good person
Re-
kind of rooting for you and wanting you to get the best value. It's more important in this type of market. So,
That's right. That's
mhm.
right.
Was there anything else you wanted to add, Tess, before we move on to our
Well,
our mortgage update?
I'll just wanted to mention as well that during while your property is listed on the market, please be flexible in showings, because it's important that, unless it's, of course, it's tenanted where you need 24 hours
Hmm.
notification. right? You need to notify the tenants, hey, we have showing, and if they don't, hopefully they'll cooperate. Otherwise, if you are live in the property and there's showings, try to be more cooperative, right? To do so that you get more showings. Don't be too picky.
Mhm.
After all, you want to sell your property fast. And of course, I think that's about it. Those are
Mhm.
the things. Hire a good realtor.
For sure.
A
No.
good realtor ski.
Mhm. Well, thank you, Tess,
You're
for the
welcome.
update there, the Treb numbers and everything, and a bit of tips on just because days on market right now is slightly longer than what our normal is
Usual,
in
yeah.
the GTA. So it's definitely good to have an understanding of what you should do to be able to sell your property, within at least that timeline. So,
Yeah, so don't
but
panic. That's the norm right now.
mhm,
Anything over a month is a norm. So don't
mhm.
panic.
Sounds good. Well, the next thing that I wanted to talk about is a bit of a market update, just because was it was it last week? Was it
Last
last week or
Wednesday,
last Wednesday?
the Bank
Last
of Canada.
Wednesday, that the overnight rate, the Bank of Canada announced a decrease of another quarter, 0.25% on the overnight rate, going from
Okay.
4.5 for 4.25.
Mm-hmm.
So again, I think we're gonna have this conversation every single time that we have a podcast, because I get the question is like, Paulo, can I get the 4.25 now that it's decreased? You'd be surprised.
Again.
It's like clockwork.
Yeah.
And it's not. You know what? It's because it's not as clear. Like, people hear this in the news and they think that's what rate they're gonna get.
Mhm.
I just wanted to kind of, because I know we've talked about this in the last episode, but the 4.25 is what the Bank of Canada would lend to the the other banks, right? The five big banks and other lenders. So that doesn't translate directly to the consumer.
Mhm.
They have a spread on top of that, right? And also that rate affects the prime rate, and the prime rate only affects variable rates. As of right now, that affects the prime. That prime is at 6.2,
S-
6.45, I believe, right?
yeah, I think
Yeah.
so.
6.45 is the prime rate at the moment, and you get a discount from the banks. So typically, a rough ballpark right now is about 1% from that. So the variable is about 5.5, depending whether it's insured or uninsured. Um, but yeah, so whether it's you're putting 20% down or less, that's a different rate from somebody that's putting 20% or more. Okay. So with that said, I just wanted to make that clarification again. So what does that mean? What does that mean to everybody? I think for the most part, we are trending down because unemployment is up. Uh, I think slightly up from the previous month. I believe it's at 6.6 right now, Canada wide. But actually, in our market in Ontario, or actually specific to Toronto, unemployment is about 8%. So that's
It went up
trending.
again.
Yeah, it was a slight difference, but if
Yeah,
you look at the overall average, like I mentioned, it's 6.6 Canada wide,
yeah.
and Toronto's being about 8%, right?
Makes sense.
So it is trending up. So that means that Bank of Canada has to do something about it, and the government has to do something about it. So I believe that we're still gonna see a couple more rate drops by the end of the year. Were you able to confirm, Tess, how many more rate announcements? Is it two or three? I know there's one next month.
Yeah, in
It's
October 20, I think, yeah, there's one in October 23, and I think probably one more. Because maybe three more.
it's
Let me
at least
check.
it's at least two. It's at least two.
At least two, yeah.
At least two. It could be two or three. But
Let me
anyway,
check.
whatever it is, it is gonna keep going down, just because we have to counter what's happening in the economy. Actually, though, maybe this is a good time for me to bring up
Which one?
this screenshot that I have here for. Sorry, 1 second here.
Only two more,
So,
Pau.
two
October
more. Okay,
23rd
two
and
more.
December 11. Two more to go.
Mhm. Sounds good. Well, thanks for confirming that, Tess. Well, I
You're
wanted
welcome.
to bring this up, the where we are in the economic cycle, because of what a lot of things are happening. So we're like you have usually four phases. Actually, I want to credit my brokerage for this slide here.
That's a good
for
one.
showing us the economic real estate cycle, just
Mm-hmm.
so people have an understanding of where we are. And this is typically what happens. You have, the first is you have your recovery, then you have your expansion, you have a recession, and you have, number four, excess supply. And we are probably more so on the fourth tier with the buyer's
Mm-hmm.
market. So in the excess supply there, so we're looking at, this is what's happening, is it's trending down now. So we're possibly here at the end of this or at the beginning already of the balance market. The reason that we can't confirm this is because you don't know which phase you're in until you're on the next phase, right? Because that's the only way that you can tell what the graph looks like, is when you're in the
Right.
next phase. That's how you know that you just finished, the balance market, buyer's market, or if you're in a seller's market. So just so people have an understanding there, that we're, hoping to be close, ending at the end of the buyer's market and starting our way up onto the balanced market. And eventually we're going to get back to a seller's market at some point, because it's all cyclical. That's
Do you
just
think
how
it'll
it
be
is.
next
That
year? Seller's market?
I
Too early to
per-
say?
personally, I think that's too early. I
Yeah.
think we're still going to be somewhat recovering for the next year.
Yeah.
uh well, it took us about how long in this buyer's market? Like, we're
Two
probably about
years.
a year in, a year or two, right?
Yeah.
So
Sorry.
we kind of
We're
have.
in yeah, over a year now for buyer's market.
Mhm. So yeah, so I just wanted to show that quickly so that people have an understanding of the different phases. um
That's a very
but
helpful
what
diagram.
can yeah, last thing is, now what can people expect from this? So from the rate perspective, it is definitely going to be trending down. So I have clients right now that are, like, renewing by the end of the year. What are their options? So
Early renewal.
it's an early renewal, but ideally, because everybody's rate is lower that's maturing right now, so you kind of want to wait
Oh,
for to the last minute until you
right.
renew, because you're getting a
Yes.
higher rate regardless, right? So the only difference now is, now people should start entertaining the variable rate because it's on a downward trend, right?
And it's
And
continued to go down, apparently.
yeah, so it's going to be going down. So you're probably looking at 5.5. But the one thing to contemplate is, because now you're looking at rates that are fixed, that are about the 4.5 mark, 4.5, 4.6. So there's still a gap there, right? In terms of doing variable now, how long is it going to take for it to be at wherever the fixed rates are, right? So yeah, but it's worthwhile entertaining, because I think by you're probably looking at fixed rates to be under 4% at least by the summer. So if you lock in right now, then you're over 4%. Are you going to feel like, it's like, why did I lock in for that long, right? But again, it's all about personal choice, just because there are people also that cannot. There's just people out there that are not variable rate clients, just because they
They're
can lose
scared
sleep
of the
over it.
change.
They're
Yeah.
and you're budgeting. Your
Yeah.
budgeting could be in jeopardy, right? Like, so depending on the bank too. I just wanted to put it out there. With variable rate, there are banks that don't change your payment, and there are banks that change your payment on as soon as that rate goes up or the prime rate goes down. But there are ones that are on a fixed payment, and all the changes happen more on your amortization. It gets shortened or longer, depending, right? So there's a lot of people that had their amortization increased because their payment wasn't changing, right? But that's going to be hopefully even out now that the rates will go down.
Another thing with uh, advantages, I guess, being in a variable rate, I think is because I'm in variable, I can switch over to fixed rate if I
Mhm.
wanted to, right? If you were in a
For
fixed
sure.
rate
For sure.
already, yeah, you're stuck with it. But again, right now, fixed rate is really low. But for
Mhm.
me, I hang on to it because that's what my mortgage broker suggested. Right, Pau?
Well,
So hopefully it's gonna keep going down, Pau. But I can
the,
see it's going down. So far so good.
well, I think the way it works is, if you were a variable person, you had to understand that
I
there
am.
is an
Yeah.
upside and a downside to it, right? So
Yeah.
if you suddenly switch on a high, like, because if I think we were having this conversation last year, if you switch over to a fix at that point, then you're committing that you're going to be on a higher rate, and you're not going to benefit on this downward trend, right? So now that you're committed, now it's I hopefully going to even out, because now you're going to stay
Yeah.
low. You're going to have a low rate for hopefully the next few years.
Yeah, because I have 3 more years to go, so it's still good. But I mean, you really have to use your judgment, and we don't know where it's heading, right?
Hmm.
I just have to. You have just have to trust your mortgage broker.
Hmm.
For me, in my case, I basically stick with more with the variable, and now it's paying off.
Hmm.
Hopefully, it's gonna keep going down.
For sure.
Um,
So yeah. So
yeah,
just to clarify that, it's for people out there asking about rate, it's definitely worthwhile. It like I'm not giving direct advice to anybody to take a variable, because it's all situational, and
yeah,
definitely you have to have that one-on-one conversation with your mortgage professional. But it is worth it to look at that the variable rate in this type of downward trend that we're seeing in the rates, and shorter term fixed. The only if if the 1 or 2 year was more attractive right now, I'd probably say do that. Just but the problem is the banks know this, that it's probably going to be lower next year. So what they're doing is the 1 year rates are fairly high still right now. So
of course.
you're
It's
looking
all
at
about
probably like
business.
6% or so on a one
Yeah,
year at this point, right?
right.
So, but yeah, again, like talk to it. Just don't
Either
rule
way,
out.
there's a risk,
Mhm.
right?
But
Yeah.
don't rule out the variable. It's something worthwhile exploring, just because of what we're seeing in the market at the moment.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
Sounds good.
Both of
Was
them
there?
are, yeah, very
Mhm.
good rates now. Both of them are offering very good rates. So it's really, you really have to look at your situation and what can you afford, right? Based on your salary or your
Mhm.
financial situation.
Okay. Well, I think that wraps up our episode for today, Tess. Was there anything else you wanted to add?
I'm good. I think we've covered everything. If our viewers have any questions or wanted us to talk about any other topics, please feel free to, leave a comment and don't forget to subscribe
Yeah.
and tell your
Subscribe.
other friends.
Yeah, definitely. Follow us on
Yeah,
Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and
TikTok.
YouTube. And it's at
Yeah,
Pinoy Homes Canada.
Canada. Oh, pasensya
Okay.
na. Nakalimutan na naman namin magtagalog, but I'm sure you guys understood.
The
We
next
did.
episode, we
It's like
promise. The next episode.
99%.
Yeah, the next episode, we promise. It's all going to be
Yeah,
purely Tagalog.
I'm really sorry. We forgot. We just kept going. But if you have any question po, let us know. Leave a comment, and we'll do our best to answer your questions.
Sounds good.
Until next time.
Until next time, thank you, Tess.
You're welcome. Thanks,
Okay, bye.
Pao.
Bye.
Bye.